What's going on, guys? MariK here, back with another Dragon Ball Super video. Amongst all the reveals that Bandai has thrown at us today, between Blue, the Super Rares, the tournament promos, the Dash Packs, even the World Championship cards, we still have more to go through. They just gave us the trailer for Miraculous Revival, and of course, they gave us some green spoilers in there. We took this video apart, and this is what we found. First up, we've got the other green leader, Pilaf. Yes, Pilaf has two freaking leaders in this set, although it's only for the front half. His auto says once per turn, when one of your battle cards attacks, it gains plus 5,000 power. And then if it destroys a battle card, then you can add up to one Dragon Ball from your deck or from your life, add it to your hand. And then when you have 7 Dragon Balls in the drop area, he can awaken. On the other side, we have Tiny Warrior Son Goku. He's got the same first two abilities as the other Wish leaders. His second ability is kind of hard to see. It's a little covered up, but it looks like his ability gives 15,000 power to a battle card until the end of the turn. But there has to be a little bit more to it than that. We'll just have to wait until next Friday for the reveal before we can see what the whole effect is. Here we've got a pretty blurry still of what looks like one of the yellow super rares. It's Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. He's at least got to be a 3 cost with a specified energy of 3, so probably about a 4 or 5. Art looks pretty dope. The SPR should look even better, but we'll have to wait until I think the 19th is when they give the info for super rare. So it's going to be about 2 weeks before we can figure out what this card does. Here's another still of Gogeta, Hero Revived. We know from the video earlier that he's a 7 cost. So he's got to be at least 25,000 power, if not 30,000. It's going to be one of the super rares, and of course every super rare gets an SPR, so this card will have a nice shiny alternate art as well. Here we see the Super 17 Cell Absorbed super rare that we saw earlier today. And we've got some other green cards that haven't been revealed yet. Some of their abilities are a little harder to see, but we've done the best that we can in trying to read the cards despite how blurry the image is. And so we figured out at least what most of them do for the most part. Enough to give you an idea of whether or not the cards are good or not so good. So here is a 2-drop Super Saiyan Son Goku GT. He's got to be 2,000 power. It's a little hard to see, but it's got to be 20,000. There's no way it's 30. Although it could be 30, since they all have 30,000 power vanilla cards. And it would go along perfectly with the green tournament pack Goku that we're getting as well. So that might be the card that it was referring to be able to pull itself out and get like an extra attack in. But honestly, there's not really anything else this card can do outside of, if it is a 2-drop, 20,000, you could get it out with Dimension Breaker Trunks and get a little extra crit damage in. Up next, we have Spirited Search Super Saiyan Trunks. He's a 2-cost, 15,000 power. His once per turn says, when your life is, I believe it's 5 or less, it's hard to tell, choose one green or black desire card in your drop area, add that card to your hand, and then when you play this card, if your life is 5 or looks like 5 or more, you can add up to 1. You can add up to 2 Dragon Ball cards from your deck and your life to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. So I believe that's most of the effect. It's a little hard to see, so we could be off by a couple of those numbers. But for the most part, he gets added Desire to your hand and gets add Dragon Balls to your hand. So that's pretty good if you're using it with the green Desire leaders. And then other than that, he's just a 15k body. But 2-drop 15k seems to be the norm for all the cards going into set 5 and going forward. Then we have Infernal Villainy Cell. He's a 4-cost, 20,000 with critical, and when you play or combo with this card, you can draw 1 card. So he works like the Unbreakable Son Goku that we got way back with the Set 3 starter decks, and you can just combo with him for the extra 10k and draw a card. But he's also a Cell, and he's also got critical, so you could play him in a Cell deck, and you could get him out with the Cell Chain, or you could even play him for 2 with the Cell's Rebirth card if you ran the Cell Leader. So essentially, yeah, letting you play him for 3 because 1 for the field and then 2 for him as well. So it'd be a 3-cost critical that would let you draw a card on play. That's actually really good. And I'm glad to see some more Cell support. I wish we could get a little bit more, but we're going to be getting a lot of extra Android support, so that should make up for it. Then we've got Defensive Stance, Super Saiyan Vegeta. He's a 2-cost 15k, but he's going to be our super combo for green. He's going to be our Sparking 5 super combo, where you don't have to have 4 or less life to play it. You just have to have 5 and drop, and then you can play it, get the 10k, and draw a card. Here we see the Super 17 leader, and he's got what looks like the Burst 2 auto, so attack, mill the top 2 cards of your deck, and then draw a card. So pretty generic, pretty boring front side. I'm kind of disappointed in it. Hopefully on his Awakened side he will have much better effects. Based on what we've seen so far, it's probably going to involve a lot of hand destruction. Here we don't exactly have the best shot of the Super 17 Awakened side, but he is Evil Entwined. Can't even tell what the keywords are on this side of the card, but the art does look like it'll be pretty dope, and more than likely it'll probably be the it'll probably be the rare leader for green, so at least he'll have a little bit of shine to make him look nice, but there's no telling what any of this text says from this image. Here we have a shot at one of the new green extra cards. It's Infernal Messenger. It's going to be a 1-cost with the activate main that says if your leader card is a green android, look at up to the top 10 cards of your deck and choose up to a total of 2 Android 17, Hellfighter Android 17, or Super 17 cards from your deck and add them to your hand. This is going to be a fantastic addition to regular androids, to Cell Leader decks, to even the Super 17. Like, this extra card right here is fantastic. This is infinitely better than Create Android. And for 1 energy, you get to get a +1 and just either drop your hand onto the board and punish your opponent with it, or get to use it for the Union Absorb abilities for the Super 17 cards. Next, we have Endless Malice Android 17. He's a 2-cost, 10,000 power. Unfortunately, even with the Android 17 leader, you can't reduce his cost because he has a 2 specified cost of green. So unless they come out with another card that reduces specified energy cost, you can't take advantage of that and have a 1-drop Android 17 for androids. He's got Burst 3, and when this card attacks, he gains 5,000 power and critical for the duration of the turn. But because you can't reduce the specified cost, it's just better to run the already crit Android 17 and 18 we have. They also have better effects, and they don't require you to mill any of the top cards of your deck, which is helpful for some of the cards, especially if you're running these sparking super combos, or with some of the abilities like the Super Android 17 Super Rare, then that is helpful, but you don't necessarily need to force it to be able to get it out, because by the time you can play one of those cards, you're already going to have enough in your drop area if you're not using Overrealm. Here we've got a shot of the green Desire card, Unthinkable Fate, featuring the red Shenron and Goku getting turned into a kid. Then we've got General Rildo. He's a 3-cost, 30,000 vanilla, so he's probably going to come out via one of the various abilities for one of the machine mutants. And then we've got Dr. Mew, Evil Genius, who's a 4-cost, 15,000 power. He's got both an auto and a keyword skill, so I'm wondering if perhaps he will be the card to bring out General Rildo and give it either double strike or critical. Here we've got Offensive Stance Piccolo. He's a 2-cost, 10,000. He's going to be our generic super combo for green, so if you're at 4 or less life, you can play it. But really, unless you're playing with a Sparking leader, you could play this one. This would be a good addition to Namekians as well, since it's a Piccolo. But, I mean, you've already got the Sayono card that just gets you the same thing, but for 1 less life you have to be down. However, this also gives you the plus 10,000 automatically without having to have your life reduced. So this could be a better card to play. And of course, if you're playing Overrealm, you don't want the Sparking leaders anyway, so this Piccolo would actually be a really good choice for green leaders. Then we have Negotiator Krillin. He's a 1-cost, 5,000 power with Barrier, and when you combo with this card from the battle area, choose up to 1 card in your opponent's combo area and place it in the drop area. You could actually use this card, you could actually search this card out via the 2-drop Gohan from set 1 if you really wanted to, but basically this is just going to take any card they combo with and drop it in the drop area. However, if they combo with a card like Champa, that card is going to keep the double strike, so dropping that isn't really going to do anything. They're going to keep the double strike, but they're going to lose the plus 10,000 power, so you're still taking away that combo power, but taking away super combos with that is where this card would really shine. And since he has Barrier, it's going to be hard to get around him, although there are more cards that get around Barrier now, so we'll just have to see how well barrier stands up to the set 5 meta once it's released. Here we have a clearer image of Spirited Search Super Saiyan Trunks. This is actually the one that we used to read the effect because the other image was just a little too blurry. But this is just another way that you can view it. If this helps and you can determine the numbers a little bit better than I could, my eyes are shit, and maybe we can figure this out a little bit better, at least before next Friday when it's actually revealed. Here we have Physical Mastery Oob. He's a 3-cost 19,000 power with Burst 3. His auto reads that when you play this card, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with 15,000 power or less and KO it. So he comes into play, he gets a free KO, and then he's still 19,000 power, which is pretty high for a 3-cost. I notice a lot of them are getting this weird 19,000 power number. So it's not quite 20,000, but it's enough up there that you're kind of like, well, you may as well just call it 20,000. So it's pretty cool. He gets to KO a card just for having the burst effect. But otherwise, he's not really a whole lot different than some of the other cards that can KO things. I think, personally, if you were going to play this, unless there is going to be a lot more Oob support, you could just play Family of Justice Son Goten, and for 1 energy versus 3, you can still blow up a card, 15,000 or less. Then we have Hellfighter 17, Evil Revived. He's like a 3-cost 15,000 power. However, he is not an Android 17, so you cannot use him with the Android 17 and 18 leader to reduce his cost. He'll be used in the Super 17 deck specifically for Union, I'm sure. I cannot tell if that says Union Absorb for the keyword skill. I believe it is, though, but the image is just way too hard to tell. Here we have a shot at the SPRs for the Infernal Janemba and the Black Mass Saiyan. Now, they have said that there's going to be 22 total Super Rares, 22 total SPRs. That means you are not even going to get half of the total SPRs in one case. Are they doing this to make people buy more than one case? I don't know, because that's a lot more money to drop down just for the SPRs, but depending on what the SPRs look like, people very well may drop that much money on them. I personally don't think I want to do that. I'm kind of irritated that many cards are going to have SPR rarities. Like, it's going to be cool, and it'll look cool, and there are a lot of super rares that, in like set 4 and such, that I wish had SPRs, like the 1-drop Bardock, but this is going to make collecting them a hell of a lot harder. People are saying, oh, well, it's going to drive the value down because there's an SPR in every box. But that's not the case, because if there's only 12 boxes in a case and there's 22 SPRs, assuming you don't get doubles, not to mention the 2 secret rares, so that's 24. So assuming you don't get doubles, you are going to only get half of those total cards. That's just ridiculous. Though I must say, I am a fan of the way they've done these SPR rarities with the battle card's character in like an attack stance and then having like a blacked out shadow of it in the background. That Janemba especially looks amazing. Then at the end of that trailer, they also revealed that each box is going to come with a special promo card. They didn't specify if it was just one promo card or if there are going to be different promo cards that could be in each box. But this definitely does not look like it's going to be a giant leader. It couldn't be. It's got the energy radar at the top, so we know that it's going to be a battle card for sure. And the art looks super dope on it, but is it going to be just one, or are there going to be multiple variations? Because otherwise you're going to be pulling quite a bit of the same card. Alright, so that should do it for today's spoilers and reveals. There has been a lot thrown at us today. We've had the blue reveals. We've gotten to see 5 of the super rares, 1 for each of the colors. We got the dash packs, we got the tournament promos, we got the national championship leader cards, then we got all of this stuff, we got to see a lot of the green cards, and we got to kind of figure out what some of them do, but honestly, there's going to be a lot more cards that we have yet to see, and I cannot wait to see what the rest of the super rares are, or even the secret rares. This set is going to be legit just crazy. But let me know what you guys think about the cards revealed in this video, the green cards, if you guys have figured out any of the effects that I couldn't decipher. Let me know in the comments below. I personally, I'm so excited for all the blue support, because blue literally has like 5 different archetypes that there is support in there for, let alone, just generic blue support. But even the green stuff, you can run a lot of this stuff, there's the Super 17 archetype. You could run some of this stuff with basic androids, with Cell. You could run some of it with the Android 13 support. Like, this set is just so diverse, and so much of the support helps so many of the other archetypes. It's so good. It's so good, and aside from the fact that it's going to be hard to get a playset of SPRs, let alone one of each of them, without buying like 2 whole cases, is going to suck. But otherwise, I have not been happier with the set since Set 2 Union Force. But let me know what you think in the comments below. We're going to get the freak out of here, and we'll see you guys in the next video.